Well, looks like I'm back again, and whew, it's just that moment where you're just not. You gotta do stuff, move stuff, rearrange. But this thing here, see, I haven't not prepared. See, earlier I was late. Well, this is gonna bring some immediate sorrow, but keep listening. It clears it. And this first to the opposite, that's me. See how easy it is for me to speak in spiritual terms? How very hard it is for me to remember nonsense. I find it almost impossible to concentrate on a proliferation of garbage that is in the world and all the meaningless chatter. I am often accused of being absent-minded because it all goes right by me. There's no room for any of it to bleed in my head. But most men's problem is just the opposite. All that garbage does leak into their minds, displacing understanding, resentment, the response to violence, pushes understanding out. You become more and more sensitive to everything, and it fills your mind like water filling a sinking ship. The sanctity of your soul is torn open. You are meant to go through life like a boat gliding through water. The boat goes through the water. The water does not go through the boat. You must go through experience. Experience must not go through you. You must not collect your nature from experience with tease and temptation and those off-brand things from the holiness in the world. You have to stay away from. Or else you will be fulfilled with its nature. So you must not collect your nature from experience with tease and temptation, or else you will be filled with its nature. Do not collect your nature from this experience. That's the temptation and stuff they say, well, this is why, you don't do this. Well, why don't you do this? Well, there's just this law that says you're not supposed to do this. And it's because of laws written way before us that were handed down and handed down. And there are things that are against nature that we just don't do because it's not what it is in this world. Those things are discussed. And you do not let your nature from this experience of temptation, do not collect from that. Wow, man, it's just so good, Or else you will be filled with its nature. People must be awakened from the psychotic state in which the various forms of temptation have placed them. America is the last great bastion of freedom, the most important republic. But I look around me and I see how low it has fallen. What an absurd thing they'd have made of freedom. People are walking around in various psychotic states, each imagining, in his drugged state of booze, sex, music, whatever distraction, that he is free. In such a psychotic state of slavery, we can be made to believe that we are free, but we are free only from the truth that we are slaves in the psychotic state of hell, introduced and being brought to you by your cell phone. Now take freedom from that. We enslave one another with subtle cruelties and drive one another to seek answers in religion, pot, music, politics, medicine. Each of us lives with a miniature feudal system. I need a drink. This is just water. It's mixed, nothing alcoholic. Each of us lives with a miniature feudal system as either a king or slave, provoking tease and being provoked by tease. We do not know how to deal with the system under which we suffer. The job, federal government, the oil company, whatever, each projecting its own form of cruelty and frustration and introducing its own psychotic addiction. Upset at work, we each go home as the lord of our own system, if we're lucky. We lay down our unreasonable rules, and we do our own exploiting and aggravating through them. There is only one hope, one way we can be free from the tyrannies which are engulfing us all, and that is to find a way to change our human nature. We must truly learn the meaning of suffering. We must awaken from our suffering to deal with the source of that suffering. The emotional obligation to respond to the pressure and persuasion of our peers. If you fail to cope with the evil of authority, if you believe it to and respond to it, if you fail to cope with the evil of authority, and if you believe and respond to it, then you must be content to remain asleep in guilt. Through the door of pleasure comes genocide and the gas ovens of dictatorship. Democracies like pleasure-centered marriages must descend to become dictatorships. It is inevitable. I'm going to read on one more paragraph that I want to read. We are not ourselves. We are projections of someone else's psychosis. Every dog becomes a god to others down the line. With others we can remember that we are the lords and forgive we are slaves. Forget we are slaves. Forgive we are slaves. And pass this evil on down the chain and through succeeding generations until a few of us waken to what we are doing. And we say no more to Islam. Well, I just threw that in there. I'm going to read some more. So, peace out. One of the founding fathers said that democracy gives every man the right to be his own dictator. Democracies degenerate, forming a pyramid out of the stinking, helpless masses. Stinking, helpless masses, with the most bizarre sexual or violent symbol or motivator at the top. We are all immensely cruel toward one another. There isn't one single person reading this, hearing this, who isn't a victim of a victim, passing power back up the chain of command to the original hellion who passed it on to his nature. and authority with the commerce of sin. But there gets to be a time when that, it's, to me, it would be like being reborn, when it's like cut off. That's it. You have to stop. That's the thing. And when you do, and when it's done, you have this freedom. The horrors are steadily mounting up to the sky. The pain of suffering is so great for those on the bottom of the pyramid that it often forces them to dramatize their dream of judgment through mindless violence. Wow. That's already 10 minutes, so peace out. 11 minutes. This is part 1. Wait a minute. 2. Part 2.